What's up, guys? This is Tyler Tote and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to tackle a really important topic, one that I believe we all can struggle with and improve at, myself included, and that's how to not overeat, how to win with our fork, how to be very mindful of what we're eating, how to not just let stress or anxiety or mindless consumption get in the way. Now, we've all been there, myself included, stressful day at work, and what do? You grab one of the donuts in the break room. Before you know it, you've eaten 6. You feel miserable. You're starting to eat the 7th. You're like, what am I even doing with my life? We've all been there. Now, I want to say before I dig into this and give a lot of strategies to get better at this, I am by no means perfect on this. There are some things in life that I feel like, I've really kind of climbed over that mountain and feel like I'm in a position of authority to teach. This is one where I still struggle. I still have times where, my kids have just worn me out that day. They finally go to bed. I tell myself, let's get one snack, and before you know it, I've eaten 4 or 5. Now, I have made massive steps of improvement along the way over the last 5.5 years. Biggest reason is why I looked like this at 34.5. I now look like this at 2 weeks before 40. I do really believe you cannot out-train a bad diet. You need to be very mindful of what you eat, and really abs are made in the kitchen. That's the famous saying, and if you want to be healthy and fit, and really feel well and have energy, you need to be mindful and conscious and win with this. Now, I got asked an awesome question by my man Fabian when I posted about habits and how to control those the other day. And he said, what about overeating? And I thought that's a great question, and it led to some great discussion. So today I want to go over the top 5 ways that you guys can control your eating, what's worked for me. I'll go over at the end exactly what I eat in the system and framework I use. So let's jump in, guys. Number 1, and this was probably the biggest switch for me 5.5 years ago, meal prep. I genuinely believe every single person should do this, and here's why. Number 1, decision fatigue. There were so many times I'd be stressed during the day, and then when it went to make the decision of what am I gonna eat, maybe that morning I had planned on going to get the salad or the sub or the little healthy meal or whatever that was. I was stressed, and now I'm going to the pizza buffet, and now I'm ordering ice cream in the afternoon, and now I'm just letting my emotions win. You need to win that battle before the moment happens. And so when you meal prep, and the way I do it is every Sunday, I literally cook the same meal, have it all laid out in containers, and so for lunch, I don't think about it. It's said that we make between 40 and 50,000 decisions a day. Take one off your plate, man. So if you already know what you're eating for lunch, the battle is won before. You can automate this. It's a very easy thing to do. Step 1 for this is to just write down, get a journal out, a notebook, and write down the options that you'll have. So I have clients that say, hey, you know what, for breakfast, my options are XYZ, right? I'll just let you know mine. I either fast, I take a shake, a little protein shake with some veggies, a little smoothie, or if I'm lifting heavy that day, I'll eat some eggs, occasionally throw in like some sausage or something like that. And so those are my only options for breakfast. For lunch, again, I went back to every Sunday in my family meal preps. I just have lean organic grilled chicken breast. That's what I eat for lunch every day for several years in a row. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that boring, Ty? To be honest, I just made the decision a while ago that when I ate during the day, it was just gonna be for fuel. I'll get more into that later, but step 1, automate and meal prep. Step 2, and this was really, really big for me back when I was in corporate, I changed all my passwords and I programmed my subconscious to align with my goals. Now, what does this actually look like in real life? I changed my computer password that I had to type in and log into at work to what was aligning with my goals. At the time, I was trying to swap soda for water and all these caffeine drinks throughout the day for water. So literally, I changed my password. I can say it now that I'm not there. Was drink more water, 1, 2, 3, or drink water, 1, 2, 3. And so I'm literally typing in drink water, like 70 times a day. And what's that gonna do? Trigger my mind, drink some water, man. This is your goal. Now, this can apply to things even outside of food. I remember 5 years ago when I was starting the habit of gratitude journaling. I made the screensaver on my phone and my computer password at the time, be grateful. It was just a reminder to think about gratitude, to journal gratitude, to be a more gracious person. So I truly believe programming your subconscious is a huge thing. Another massive tip, and this is one that's worked really well for me and my wife in the past, we took a sticky note and put it on our pantry that just had the word pause. That's all it said. And so, maybe it's late at night. I've been with the kids for 14 hours. They've been fighting. We got 2 toddlers. That stuff tends to happen sometimes. And the kids finally go to bed, and what do? And you just want the chips or you just want the whatever thing is there. And so just by walking, having that simple act of pause, what that would do is just trigger my mind. Okay, be mindful. Ask yourself, do you really want it? Are you hungry or are you just tired? And I think, again, by just having that tiny little barrier, it really helps a ton. So number 2, program that subconscious and use sticky notes that align with your goals. Number 3, this one is absolutely massive. Control your environment. Now look, here's the thing. You have 186 hours every week. If your house is filled with a ton of junk food, you got the Hostess cupcakes, the ding dongs, you got the donuts, you got all the junk, the chips, the Doritos, all these poisons all over, right? It's very unreasonable to think you're gonna just on willpower alone be able to not eat these things all the time. So I have a saying, and that's if you can just win 1 hour a week at the grocery store and not buy this stuff, you then again create that barrier where, let's be honest, 8:30 at night, you're probably not gonna get into your car and drive to the grocery store to get a snack. But if it's there, you're sure as heck gonna grab it. So you really need to be mindful about controlling your environment. Now, if you're in an office, the way this pertains to me and the way that I use this to win to control my environment when the office was just full of all these same snacks, I literally offered every one of my coworkers $100 on the spot if they ever caught me eating this stuff. Again, I meal prepped, I brought my lunch in, that's all I was gonna eat for the day. And if anybody ever caught me eating a cookie, a donut, anything, I would pay them $100 on the spot. Told them all this repeatedly. No bite of a donut's worth $500 to me if 5 people see me, so that was a very good barrier. It also got to the point of social pressure where humans like to be really consistent. We would get snack food delivered and instantly a lot of my coworkers would say, Ty's not gonna eat it, there's more for me. So it became this thing of, man, they all think I'm not gonna eat it. I promised myself I'm not gonna eat it. There's money on the line. I can't lose at this. The last big tip I'll give on controlling your environment is have a plan before you go to special events. Now, I'm just gonna tell a story of several months ago when I completely dropped the ball on this. I went to a family event. We had about 7, 8 desserts, as often happens in these family gatherings or reunions. And guys, I'll just be honest, 1 slice of pie turned into 4, which turned into a few cookies, which turned into this or that. Before you know it, I'm feeling sick, I'm feeling terrible. And again, I don't have a lot of great willpower, which is why I need to control my environment. So I remember coming home and telling my wife, you know what, before I go to these events, before we go to friends' cookouts or things where there's gonna be a lot of junk food, I need to have a plan. And so now what I will do and what me and my wife will do before we go to these is we'll say, you know what, tonight I'm gonna allow myself maybe half a plate of chips and 1 snack. Or you know what, I'm gonna have a dessert and a half tonight. That's what it's gonna look like. And then being true to your word. That has made a massive difference in our lives. So number 3, guys, control your environment. Number 4, and I highly recommend that every single person try this. There's a lot of science. You can research a lot of this stuff out here. I've talked to a lot of the smartest people in the world who also practice this. It's intermittent fasting. Now, what is intermittent fasting, you're asking? Essentially, you're just taking the option of eating or snacking off the table for certain windows throughout the day. So what this looked like for me is for a long time, I wouldn't eat until 1 p.m. When I worked a corporate job, I'd get up, I'd work out, I may have a protein bar or a shake on heavy lift days after, but generally I would just not eat until 1 p.m. Then I'd eat again for dinner at 6 p.m., maybe a little light snack after, and by 8 p.m. I had a hard cutoff. So the only times I was eating was from 1 p.m. to about 8 p.m. I had a 7-hour window there where I allow myself to eat. I truly believe there's something really powerful when we control our mind. And you know, guys, we live in an age now where you can push a button and have food delivered. You can, this stuff, we're in an abundance age, so you can have this stuff everywhere. But when you train your mind to say, I don't need that. I practice longer fasts now too. I do a lot of 24-hour fasts where I just don't eat for a whole day. Again, a ton of research behind this, what this really does to our body. I do it as much for my mind as even the benefits in my body. But I do believe as humans, and especially in the West these days, there's just so much food. We're always grazing all day. And look, up until a couple hundred years ago, that was necessary. We didn't have the abundance of food like we have now. But we do. You're not gonna die if you do a 24-hour fast. You're not gonna die if you skip breakfast. So I would say experiment with intermittent fasting. Even if you're used to maybe eating a big breakfast, try and push it back a little. See what that feels like. If you're used to not eating much breakfast, just try and skip a breakfast. See what that feels like for a day. Have control over your mind and win at that. So step 4, intermittent fasting. Number 5, and guys, this is probably the biggest one. You gotta change your mindset around this. You gotta have a deep sense and a why. Again, I think suckers rely on willpower. If I relied on willpower and feelings, I wouldn't go to the gym 90% of the days, to be honest. I'd much rather stay in a warm bed spooning my hot wife than get up at 5 a.m. and get my butt to the gym. I'd much rather eat the junk food pretty much all the time than the healthy food. It tastes better. So you have to have a big why as to why you want to accomplish this goals. Now look, your goals won't be the same as mine and mine won't be the same as yours, but what I'd ask you to do is right after this video, get out a pen and paper, get in your notes section in your phone, write down that why. Why is this important to you? I did this 4.5, 5 years ago where I said, you know what? It's so important for me to eat correctly, to be the best version of myself, to be high energy. My kids deserve that. My wife deserves that. I deserve that. A bigger one for all you Jesus people out there, and I'm only talking to you Jesus people, but what really changed it for me is I look at my body now like it's not my body. There's a lot of scripture around this, and I'll link a Fit Father devotional below where I go into a lot of these things. But look, guys, the truth is, my body's on loan. It's an earth suit. Jesus loaned me this body, and it's not mine. So if I want to be a good steward with it, then I really need to honor God with the choices that I make and what I put into my body. I wrote down that why, and I wrote down why it was so important to myself. I actually emailed it to myself, so when I was at work, I could pull that up and read it again. The other thing I did was I actually physically wrote it out and put it on my nightstand. And every morning I'd wake up and I'd read that why. Why is that so important for me to eat healthy and fuel my body today? There's a million reasons to eat healthy, higher energy, more sex drive, you look better, you feel better. Whatever those reasons are for you, ask yourself internally. Get that vision in your head of the person you want to be. Write yourself a letter, know your why, and see that vision of yourself and where you'll be a year from now. So number 5, know your why, change your mindset around this. The last one I'll give you real quick, and this is a bonus one. I like to give bonus ones here on the channel. And this one's really easy, man. Have a group around you that has similar goals. To be honest, if you're meeting buddies at the bar 3 nights a week and drinking beers and chicken wings, watching football, you're not going to accomplish your goals. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's one of those sayings that I really love, and if it's you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So if you want to have a long-term vision, you need to surround yourself with a community of people that are doing the same things as you. I myself lead a men's community where we have 35, 40 guys that are locked in, all trying to accomplish the same goals. Be great dads, be great Christ followers, get strong physically, mentally, spiritually, read more, be present husbands, fathers, all these things, right? Eat healthy. We do things called Big Energy Eat Week where we all eat perfect and we say everything we eat together. Have a community around you. Maybe it's just a buddy. Maybe it's just, me and my wife do this together. So whatever that looks like for you, find community, surround yourself with people that are doing the same things as you are. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Mindful eating is such a big thing. And I know we've all been there where we eat the bad food and we think, I'll just start next week. Well, it's close to the month. I'll start then. Well, New Year's is coming up. I'll binge till then, but then I'll start. I urge you to start now. Get out a notebook. Write down your why. Write down the meals. Start to meal prep. Here's exactly what I eat and feel free to copy it. My strategy is, again, for breakfast, I have 3 options. Fast, shaken smoothie, or eggs. That's it. I don't deviate from that. I don't eat chocolate chip pancakes when I feel like it. I don't eat French toast. That's just not in the playbook. Those are the 3 things I eat. The reason is those things keep me very high energy, very mentally clear, and I want energy throughout the day. Lunch, I literally have 1 option. I probably recommend you have more than one. I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to this, but I eat grilled chicken thighs, organic lean grilled chicken thighs. I season them different, sometimes teriyaki, hot sauce, whatever that is, and a couple veggies. Eating the same lunch for 4.5, 5 years every single day, keeps me high energy, doesn't make me dip. And so when I look at my framework, I'm not really that rigid on dinner, because if I'm gonna eat 21 times during the week, 14 out of 21 are perfect, no matter what. I don't waver from those things. By default, my wife is gonna make me 3, 4 healthy meals every week, and then I feel no guilt when we go out to eat, or we have a family pizza night, or whatever that looks like, because really I'm trying to be 80-20 with this. I'm trying to be 80% locked in, eat for fuel, eat very healthy. 20%, I'll enjoy the food and what's around me and be mindful of it. So that's my exact framework. If you guys have any questions on this, drop them in the comments, shoot me a message. I'm happy to talk through this stuff with you as I do a lot of people. But what I really want to say is just get that vision in your head of who you want to be, why this is important. Maybe tweak a little habit or 2 today. Get down your why. Losing the weight, feeling better, looking better, These things aren't that far away from you. You're a couple key habits away from doing this. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Go bless up. Go be kind today. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Have the greatest day of your life. Thanks for tuning in.